Absolutely.
The May 2025 meeting of the City of Scranton Zoning Hearing Board will now come to order. Will the zoning officer please take roll?
Board Member Welby. Here. Board Member Walsh.
Here.
Board Member Morris.
Here.
Board Member DeAntona.
Here.
Chairman McDermott.
Here. Please stand for the pledge.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the Pennsylvania Sunshine Law, this board shall render a decision in each case either at the end of each hearing or within 45 days of the hearing. If you are to give testimony in a case, please come to the podium, raise your right hand, and wait to be sworn in. After being sworn in, state your name and address, then proceed with your testimony. Also, anyone giving testimony who does not become a party to the case may obtain a written decision from the zoning office. I also have two announcements of law. If you are granted a variance or a special exception, you must wait 30 days from the date of our decision to obtain the necessary permits to start work. However, you may obtain permits sooner by signing a waiver that any work done during that 30-day period is at your own risk. A favorable decision by this board shall expire 12 months from the date of said authorization in accordance with Article 10.3C of the zoning ordinance. If you fail to obtain the necessary permits or do not comply with any or all conditions of said authorization, you must seek an extension. Are there any remarks from the board? None? Abraham, can you verify the postings?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, call the first case.
All right, first on the agenda today, we have Nicholas A. Sandoval seeks variance to convert Duplex into a 3-unit home at 328 Pittston Avenue, R-11 zone.
Good evening, gentlemen. May I? It is. Sean Bingham, taxpayer. Gentlemen, the property in question tonight, city, I believe, has it as a 2-unit, and we're asking to convert it to a 3-unit. But I'm going to ask for some clarification from Mr. King in regards to how many units is this property actually as it is today, right now?
What I saw in the records was it was previously registered as 2.
Previously registered as 2. So
Mr. King, turn your mic on, please.
Sorry, it was previously registered as a 2-unit.
Gentlemen, yesterday or the day before Monday, I applied for a release of condemnation and certificate of occupancy for the location situated on the same parcel of land in the back, which would be in regards to a 328 Cursed Court. That's an abandoned house in the back. So our understanding was that was on Cursed Court. Well, we got news from the city today that in fact is already on that parcel of land, which in return would make that a 3-unit as it sits right now. We're going to rehab that whole entire house in the back. But we just want clarification if that's actually 328 Cursed Court or if that's 328 Pittston Avenue.
Both structures are on the same lot.
Right.
It says 328 Pittston.
It says 328 Pittston, which in return would be, we could agree that it's 3 units already at that point. There would be 3 units here, one in the back, which is an additional dwelling unit, an ADU unit in the back. And then the front house would be 2 units as it stands today. Could I approach with pictures or no? Okay, so the property out in the front of the house, it's already got 3 meters on it, and it also has a house meter, and it also has 3 gas lines that were probably put in 1965 from from the looks of it at least. So we will concede to the fact that the new owner did in fact put a third floor egress in the back, probably without a permit, no doubt about it. But our position is that it was 3 units all along. The meters are there, the gas line's there. So back in probably whenever it was, you didn't need a third egress or a second egress on the third floor. He put the third egress there, or the second egress on the third floor in order for that. Our position is if there's three houses on that property, that's your grandfathered in for 3 parking spots, and we would need 1 for an additional unit if we're gonna call the third floor a new unit, which we have that in the backyard off of Curse Court. There's a big driveway in the back there.
Are you saying there's 1 unit on Curse Court?
What I'm saying is
House
three-
separate unit. Let me finish.
Yeah.
And on the front, the 328 Pittston, you already have 2 and you want a third in that house?
There's 3 there right now. There's 3 meters, there's a house meter,
But it's only approved for 2 right now.
well, it was registered as 2.
Right,
Attorney
it
Penetar.
was only registered as 2.
Right.
So there's 2 houses, one of which has 1 unit and one of which presently is registered for 2.
That's correct.
And you want a third.
So if we're doing that, we're calling it 2. There's actually 2 units, there's an additional dwelling unit in the back, and there's a big 3 unit out in the front. So however, back when when they were charging them $300 and some a year for rental, people were doing that throughout the city. They were saying 2, 3, now they're getting caught with it. So that's not us and that's not you guys. I understand that. But we can't call it a 2 unit, and if there's 3 units on the property, we can't call it a 2 unit. That's all I'm saying.
But-
If I have an additional dwelling unit in the back, and it's right there in black and white, or color, or however he has it on his computer, they're calling it 2. If it's 328 Curse Court, that's fine. If it's 328 Pittston Avenue, then they're wrong with 2. We can't call it 2 units if we have an additional dwelling unit, is all I'm saying. I could be wrong, but I think that's right.
Is that a garage down, or is that a, because
No,
It looks like a
is
house.
there anybody in that house? It's abandoned.
no, I mean, to me, it looks like the building's about to fall over.
Yeah, well, there's a new roof put on it, and it's all gutted out right now. It's gonna be rehabbed. So the alley has a 328 in the alley. The address is 328 in Curse Court. But I filled out the RFC and the CO for 328 Curse Court, because that's what we believe it to be, is 328 Curse Court, but the city's corrected it, said it's 328 Pittston Avenue, rear, which would automatically make that 3 units. There's 2 in the front, as Mr. Penetar alluded to, and then there'd be an ADU in the back, which would be an additional dwelling unit. So I think the confusion is that if they're only gonna call it 2, it's actually 3, or they're gonna call it 328 Curse Court.
But what you're asking for now is 4 on the
Correct.
property.
And all due respect, Mr. King, if I got 3 units, I'm grandfathered in 3 spots. I would need 1, whether I'm asking for 10, I need,
Yeah, I'm not talking about I'm asking how many units are you asking for when it's all said and done, everything's complete?
the front house would be 3 units and an additional dwelling unit in the back, separated from the property, which is,
So you're asking for 4 units
That's correct.
on this lot?
or we could ask you for 3 and call that 328 Curse Court, if that's what
Well,
you
we
want to
can't
do.
call it
No.
Curse Court because
Okay,
it's
then we
all
can't-
on one property.
Then gentlemen, we can't call it two units as it stands. If we can't call it Curse Court, we also can't get it both ways. We can't call it two units on 328 Pittston Avenue when I have 2 operating right now, and I have 1 in the back, which is an additional dwelling unit, which is going to be operating.
Let's not get bogged down on the addresses. There are 2 houses, okay? One of which has 1 unit in it, the other of which is registered for 2 units. Wherever you're going to put this extra unit in the house that is registered for 2 units, that's what you need the variance for.
That's, Mr. Penetar, I understand that, but if I'm on 1 parcel of land,
Doesn't matter, doesn't matter.
wait a minute, what do we mean it doesn't matter?
You're now expanding from 3 units to
Right.
4 units.
That's right. That's
Okay.
what we're asking. No. Right now, we're asking, they're saying 2 units. Don't say we can't, decipher between 2 or 3 units, we have to establish what it is, 2 or 3 units. We have to. Whether you deny the third unit or not, that would still only make that property 2 units. Right now, as it stands, the city has it as 2 units.
Yes,
Right, no, it's 3.
but
There's
it's
2 in the
already,
front and 1 in the
only
back.
registered as 2.
Mr. Penetar, it's registered, so we're gonna call it 2 and fix the one in the back and just say, what, we can't fix the one in the back either?
No, you could fix the one in the back.
That
'cause
makes it 3 then.
That was a unit at one point.
Yeah, correct.
No question.
And as the pictures
We-
allude to
we
right
can-
there, they've had a 3 unit there there's an actual 3 units there. I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, may I? Is this on? This application, is that dealing with the front home?
Pardon me?
Is this application dealing with the front house, the house that is facing Pittston Avenue?
That's right.
So that's the one you want to make the 3rd floor into an apartment?
No, we want to open it back up as a
Right.
3. There's one there, yeah.
It was a 2 apartment before, correct?
No, it's been 3. They registered as 2, but it's been 3. We're not going to lie to you. There's a full apartment in the upstairs.
Right, I could see that. Now, my issue is, 1, parking, but most of all, my issue is the wire that is run from the basement appears to be that it was tapped into a panel box, came up on side of the double meter base, and then ran up the wall, around the front of the house, and up through the soffit overhang. Now, from what I see, I did contracting for a couple of mighty years. The clips on the meter base were pulled. What it appears to me is the clips were pulled, somebody pulled the meter, took a wire, tied it into the panel box in the basement, and then came out, ran the wire from through the wall up into that second disconnect on the left of the meter bases, and then up the wall and around the front and up through. By my eyes, whether a permit was pulled for that,
Right.
it was not inspected. And the reason I say that is it would not be inspected.
Right, but we can speculate that all day long. Were you in the basement? Did you see the clips in the basement? Okay, so then,
What I can see visually on the outside of the building,
right.
those wires that came out and up and around and feeding the 3rd floor, that wire feed was not inspected.
So are you talking about down on the left, or are you talking about the 3 boxes that I have the pictures of it right there? The one that's cut off on the bottom. So I have a picture of it in my phone.
Right here.
So the one you're talking about is totally, it's disconnected.
Okay? So you have the double meter base being fed
That picture
from,
right there, yeah.
from the weatherhead, okay? Mm-hmm. Being fed from the weatherhead. Okay? That's coming down, that's the original. From that, each meter has a line going into the basement, assuming that it goes each one to a panel box.
We can't assume, sir.
Well,
We can't assume. We could assume that we have it registered for 4 units as well.
If they
we're
are
gonna
going-
assume, we're going to assume for both of us.
if they are going down into the basement, okay?
Right.
Now, below that is a wire coming out of the wall, okay? Bends around and comes up into that plastic box. Whether it is a disconnect or is just a connection box, I don't know. Now, out of that, going up the wall, is a feed line, run pretty sloppily, and that goes around the front into the overhang, which feeds the 3rd floor. Am I correct in saying that?
I didn't do the electrical. I couldn't even, I don't even really, why we're even talking about electrical at this point, I have no idea. We can speculate and assume all day long. It's not going to make either one of us right.
Yeah, at the end, no matter what happens, when the work is completed there,
It's gonna get
there'll have to be a
inspected.
certificate of
That's
occupancy
correct.
inspection.
That's
and-
right.
and
So we
any-
could
any of
assume all
those
day long,
issues
we
would have
tapped
to be
in this, we
corrected.
did that. I didn't do nothing, I'm not an electrician, but I'm a contractor too.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is this, I'm simply stating a fact. Fact of the matter is, there's 3 units upstairs. Now, whether they took a pen out of a electrical box, I didn't take a pen out. That's a fact. We won't assume that I didn't do it. I'm gonna tell you factually, I didn't do it. My fact is this, I'm just asking, if you deny this here tonight, that's fine. We still want clarification if what's 328 Curse Court, because, and he alluded to earlier, he said the 3 parking. If I have 3 properties on that land, I'm grandfathered in for 3. If I'm asking for a 4th, I have a huge driveway on the side of the house on Curse Court. You were out there, you have a picture of it, right? You see the parking, so you're asking for parking, but it's right there in front
All
of
right,
you.
but
You have your picture.
we understand what you're saying now. Abram, was there any permits pulled for this project?
Permits were pulled, but they were put on hold because
should
of the
any work-
RSC. Huh?
Any work should have been done on that property, on that 3rd floor unit?
I mean, if the building is condemned,
No, Abram, I think he's asking about the front house. Front house isn't condemned.
Oh, I see. Okay,
No,
I'll be honest.
The
I'm just
front house, when I was there,
The last building permit was pulled in September of '23.
okay.
That's right.
And what was that for?
Give me a sec.
Because when I
That
was
was
there
for a
as
new
a
roof.
new
Okay.
roof, so that's on the
Yeah.
rear property that he's saying is
That's
the
right.
separate
That was
house.
when we purchased the property in
Yeah.
August of '23. That's correct.
Well,
So
the
the
fir-
permit
I
got
s-
pulled in September.
The front roof was done in November of '22. And the reason I say that is because if you go on Google Maps, and it shows the picture, and it shows that the ladders were up, they were doing the roof. And at that time, there were 2 meter bases on the wall. There was not that extra wire coming up. So
There also
that-
wasn't a
So that wire was done between then and March 1st, when I first inspected the
Mr.
property.
Welby, all due respect, on Google Maps too, you'll find that there wasn't a second egress out the 3rd floor. I conceded to that. I agree. They did it without a permit.
It
But-
looks like to me like they put that whole unit in illegally upstairs. When I was there, they were carrying sheetrock in, I saw appliances going in, like the whole unit seems to be completely illegal.
Okay, so that's, Mr. Walsh, I don't know if they did it illegally or not. I wasn't there, I didn't do it. I myself, Sean Bingham, didn't do it. My argument here today is simply this. If there's 2 units there, why would there be 3 gas meters there?
Is one for the rear house?
No, of course not, one in the rear house. It's way in the back. Why would there be 3 gas meters? Not a chance in the
Well,
world.
let's
That
back up a
doesn't
little
matter.
bit.
Well, we could assume it's one for the back house.
We can't assume,
But it
can
doesn't
we?
make it that.
We can't assume, can we?
No, I said it doesn't make it that. Correct. We're never going to assume as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Let's back up a little bit. In order for you to be grandfathered in as that 3rd unit,
Right.
it has to be a legally existing 3rd unit. There's nothing in the record that shows that was legally existing. It wasn't registered as 3 units. There's no permits for that 3rd unit. So that's why you need the variance for that 3rd unit.
Mr. Penetar, you're doing this a long time.
Yep.
And you know that the city of Scranton was sued for their outrageous fees for rentals. You know that. They paid the money back.
That doesn't have anything to do with this 3rd
Well,
unit.
sure it does. When people,
No, it doesn't.
when people were registering their properties, they just weren't ready. Ask Mr. King, he's catching them all day long. Catching them all day long, right or wrong.
We just caught one here.
I'll agree, people lied all the time.
They lied.
But
So it came
when
back
they
to catch
lied, it comes back to
Yeah,
catch somebody.
It comes back to catch them. Look, here's what it is. What do we have over there? Do we have 2 units in the front, 1 unit in the back?
That's how it exists today.
Right. That's how it exists today. So we're asking if we can make a 3rd unit over there. We have the parking for it. If there's anybody in the crowd that wants to give any testimony to it, let's go. If not, I mean, I'm going to stand here and just argue it. I'm not going to argue it no more. Just not going to.
You said you have the parking. It's on
We do. 100%.
the left side
Yeah, Mr. McDermott, there's parking in the back there, right?
next to the single home.
That's right. You can put a couple cars there. You just can't pull them in and then pull 2 behind it, but you can get 2 cars in there, yeah. You'd be able to. So even if one was going to park off Curse Court, you'd still get the parking there. We were willing to pull the permits for it. I mean, it's a new owner. This is a new owner of the property. I mean, look at it. It is what it is. I can't make something happen that's, not doable.
Mr. King, if the back house is down the road, if you apply for it, and if it actually can be occupied, how many parking spots would that need?
We need 1.
No, we wouldn't need any. Why would we need any? It's
Because
there. It's 3 units. It's a part of the
No, I'm
parcel.
asking about the rear unit.
The rear unit,
The
that's
rear
what I'm
building.
saying to you. That's the rear units
How many
already on the
parking spots
property.
would the rear?
Actually, if you approve the front for 3 and there's going to be 1 in the rear, I would like to see 4.
And how many do we have with what we have right now?
It looks like 3, you might be able to squeeze a 4th one in, like
No, no,
in
but
the
we're-
driveway.
Gentlemen, all due respect, we are allowed street parking. We have 2 active apartments. That would turn around and we would need 2, if that's what you're saying. Curse court and upstairs. We already have 2 on the street on Pittston Avenue.
That doesn't count. There's no street parking that applies. It doesn't matter how.
Where are they parking now?
That doesn't matter. That's not what we're looking for. We need off-street
Mr. Welby,
parking.
for all 4 units at this point, off-street parking? Mr. Penetar, help out here.
Off-street parking doesn't count as a parking. It has to be off-street parking.
No. I already have parking there. I have 2 units already there.
I know
How
you're,
many do I need per unit if I get an added unit? How many do I need?
1.
one per
Correct.
unit.
You just said I can get 3.
But you need 4.
Oh, I have the street parking. Mr. Welby, come on. I have street parking. So,
Street
all right, let's
parking.
do this. If I have a 2-unit building and I'm asking for a 3rd, right? And I'm asking for a 3rd, how many parking spots do I need? How many answer the question. How many parking spots do I need? I'll help you. If you can't answer it, I'll help you. You need 1. Is that right, Mr. Penetar?
You're asking for a variance for an extra unit.
You got to answer the question, sir. How many spots do I need
You're
for 1?
You're grandfathered in for your 3,
That's correct.
okay?
That's it. I'm
You're
grandfathered
grandfathered
in.
in for your 3.
grandfathered
But now, by asking for an extra unit,
I need 1.
now, no, they can determine that there's not enough parking.
But we get pick a fruit from the poison tree? What are we gonna pick a fruit from the poison tree? No, we don't get it that way. If I have a 2-unit building, and I want to make it a 3rd, I need to add 1 spot to do that.
Well,
That's the new law. That's the new law that just came out. You know what I know.
That's your argument.
The argument is the law. You're the lawyer. You're the law. Is that the law or no? Put it on record. Say yes or no. Put it on record.
What I'm saying is,
No, put it
the
on record,
variance
the law.
includes the whole thing now.
No, you-
So they can reconsider the parking of the whole thing in order to grant the variance. They can't make you go from 3 units to less because you don't have parking, but they can make you ask for additional parking because of the variance.
I beg to differ.
You can,
I'd like you to put it on record to say that.
I just did.
Okay, well, here, put it this way. Your position is this, that this board can say, because you're gonna make it 4 now, we want you to put 4 off-unit parking. Is that true, gentlemen?
They can do that
Is
in
that
order to
true?
grant the variance, yes.
You can do that, so you can make me get 4 parking spots.
Okay, what we're going to do now is see if anybody else.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that'd like to comment? Yes, right there.
Do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
State your name, please.
David Mitchell, the house next door, 324 Pittston Avenue, my family owns. To clarify some of the issues with the house in the front, the house in the back, we've owned the property for about 20 years, and the house in the front has been a 2-unit the entire time. You can even go to the listing. There was an gentleman from Philadelphia who owned it for the whole time we owned the property. And then within the last year or 2, a new owner took over, and ever since the new owner took over, it's been hell. The chimney's fallen over into the house, into our yard currently. Cars parked everywhere. I don't know, there's one driveway on the side of the rear house that can hold 2, maybe 3 cars. In the back, they park a lot alongside the house, but that causes them to impede into the court, which ambulances, fire trucks, even regular cars have a hard time getting through. If you drive through, you'll see there's a dirt patch alongside the house, maybe 5 feet wide. So if you park, your car's at least 3 or 4 feet into the alley. The front house is always, like I said, it's always been a 2. The rear house has been condemned as long as we've owned, or unoccupied, believe condemned. They just put a roof on in the last year or 2. But like I said, it's been vacant at least 20 years. No one's lived there. When the house sold to the current owner, if you look at the listing in Realtor.com, it will show that the front house was listed as a 2-unit, the rear house was listed as a single unit. Nothing about this 3rd unit in the attic. We've seen tons of work going on. They were moving a stove in last week after the last hearing was continued. like Mr. Walsh said, sheetrock, everything else. We can only assume, like we said, we can't go with assumptions that that third unit was put on since the new owners owned it. We were never in the house. We just know there was only 2 units in it for the 20 years we owned the property. And, you know, the issue with the parking is, like I said, there's a ton of cars there now, and I don't know what your rules are with parking, like if it counts as 3, because they have to stack. It's only a 1-car driveway. So you might be able to get 2 to 3 cars in there, but they're going to stack. So, what else did I have to go over with that? That's just about it. Just that ever since the new owners took it over, it's been hell, litter, things getting thrown over the fence. Before they put the roof on, in the back, shingles were, every time the wind blew, there were shingles in our yard. And that's pretty much all I have to weigh in on the situation.
Thank you.
Again, gentlemen, since we owned it in October 23, you guys done work to the property. If the chimney's falling, we didn't know nothing about the chimney falling, but I'm certain when we do get that, we will get the back opened up. I mean, we do know it's been condemned. We know it's been condemned for a long time, and it's also, going to be rehabbed. So, I don't know nothing about the 3rd floor. We bought it like that, so we bought it with the 3rd floor apartment in there. We didn't do any alterations to it. It's as simple as that.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Board Member Welby,
No.
Board Member Walsh,
No.
Board Member Morris,
No.
Board Member DeAntona,
No.
Chairman McDermott.
No. By a vote of 5-0, you've been denied.
Okay, second on the agenda, we have Joshua Ortega seeks variance to convert mixed-use property into a 4-unit property at 515 Willow Street, R-11 zone.
That's me too. So we were here last month with this property, and, we tend to not be able to find the parking for the 4 units. So as I asked Mr. King last month, if that in fact would be, there's a commercial downstairs and a residential upstairs. Our question to the board today is simply this. We would amend that to 1 of 2 things. The first thing would be, we would ask, we understand, and we can't wrap our head around it, if you have a commercial property and you switch it to residential, you lose your parking for that. Is that right, Mr. King? So I have a residential and I have a commercial. Mm-hmm. Commercial on the 1st floor, residential on the 2nd floor, right? So if I want to convert it, the commercial to residential, I lose my parking for that?
You don't have any parking to lose.
Well, I have commercial, of course I have parking. I have a commercial building.
You have parking on the site?
Yeah, parking in front of the building.
No, on site.
No, on the site, on the property?
No.
No, you're not going to lose the parking spots on the street.
Right,
They're
so
always
my
gonna be
question
there.
is if we amend the application today, as opposed to a 4-unit, could we convert it from commercial to residential on the 1st floor, residential on the 2nd floor, which would be in return 2 units instead of 4 units, and knock the commercial off and make it residential? If there's somebody in the crowd that, wants to dispute that, then I guess we'll go the other way with it. We'll just make it commercial.
Just refresh my memory on this one.
That's the firehouse behind Cedar
Right.
Pike. Right, we're gonna rehab the house.
So you're gonna do-
$285,000. We're gonna make the neighborhood nice.
We're going to do 2 units, one on the 1st floor, one on the 2nd.
That's correct.
How many square
Residential.
feet about each floor?
Well, the downstairs one's got about maybe 1,400 square feet, and the upstairs is a little bit smaller and narrower. It's about 1,100 square feet. We have a full set of 4 plans, 4 apartments, but we know it's unrealistic to that. We asked the neighbors down the street who has a big parking. I don't think they're opposed to it. So I can't understand it, because if we put commercial there, we'll put something there that's going to bring 20 cars in at a time. We don't want to do that.
There's 0 off-street at the moment, correct?
There's
There was
zero.
never any parking for that
There's
house.
never, no. So whoever had it was a printing company. I believe the guy had a printing company there. Am I right, Mr. King?
That's, I believe, some.
Yeah,
type of a
so
print
I don't
shop.
know, he definitely, he definitely brought a lot of cars into the neighborhood. We're not trying to do that. We just want to, maybe waive the parking on it if we can, or again, if Mr. King says we don't lose it, we would be grateful for that. And it just asked the board to swap it from commercial to residential. and be on our way, 2 units.
Is there anybody that'd like to give testimony?
I have a question on that, Mr. Chairman. If you were to turn this first floor into a commercial building,
Yes.
what type of access would he need from the street as far as remodeling, renovations, cutting up the sidewalks? Is there anything you have planned for that?
What,
Well,
I
I don't think
misunderstood
that
the
has
question. What
anything
do we have to
do
do?
with us, though, right?
Yeah, no matter what it is, commercial, residential, it's going to have to be, it's going to have access, and it's going to have to
Yeah,
probably
we have a
be
front door.
handicapped
We have a front door to
Yeah.
it. There's a front door to the building. The guy had a store there. The guy, I don't even know what it was, and I'm not even sure when the guy had the store, but it caught on fire. Do you know the building, Mr. Welby?
Sure.
Sure. I mean, maybe the neighbors would like the fact that we're going to dump almost $300,000 into their neighborhood and make this a beautiful, piece of property. It's going to be nice. And we'll do it right. Again, we're not opposed to doing the commercial either. It's just we're going to bring a lot of cars into that neighborhood, which makes no sense. We don't want to do that. We don't want to fight with the neighbors. We'd rather just make 2 apartments and be on our way.
I'll make a motion for the change to the 2 units.
Second.
Board Member Welby,
No.
Board Member Walsh,
Yes.
Board Member Morris,
Yes.
Board Member DeAntona,
Yes.
Chairman McDermott.
Yes. By a vote of 4-1, you've been approved.
Thank you, Mr. Welby.
Good?
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Charles Wilson seeks variance to build a 24 by 24 garage with a paved lot with privacy fences at corner of Luzerne Street and Dalton Street, R-10 zone. I believe also, before anything, I believe you wanted to increase the footprint of the building?
Yeah, to 24 by,
Okay.
Can you please raise your hand? Sorry. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth, nothing but the truth?
yes. My name's Charles Wilson, my address 442 Milwaukee Avenue, Old Forge, Pennsylvania. And yes, I was seeking to increase it to 24 by 32.
24 by 32?
Yes.
I would have a problem, because it's been advertised as 24 by 24. Then anybody that may object to the increased size of the garage would not be here tonight.
They're not aware of it.
They're not aware of it. I mean, we can allow Mr. Wilson, we could vote to allow Mr. Wilson to amend the size of the garage, but I think we have to re-advertise it and hear it next month.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and as far as the property usage, I don't plan on using it for any solicitation or sales, more so
Well,
by,
Before you go any further, what he's saying is that we won't vote on this tonight. We would have to, if you want to change the size of the property, we're going to have to continue this to next month and re-advertise.
Re-advertise the increase in the size of the garage.
so next month, okay. All right. Is there
If
anything?
you want to
mo-
keep it the same, we can continue.
Well, I'd like to increase it. I think I emailed my request maybe a month ago, just for the record, but, well, maybe not a month, but shortly after I submitted the paperwork initially. But, yeah, no, I definitely need a bigger garage. I spoke to some engineers. I have a snowplow business, and I work on my snowplow truck, and I'd need a bigger garage to fit the truck
Okay,
in.
but what our solicitor is saying,
We have to
we can't-
reschedule, I
yeah,
understand.
we can't entertain
Yeah,
it.
wait,
Okay,
they have to vote to allow you to amend it, so you don't have to reapply a new application. we could just amend the present application that's pending,
Okay.
if they vote that way. So your motion is to allow Mr. Wilson to amend, and we'll re-advertise it for next month with the
Re-advertise.
increased size of the garage.
No, I'll make a motion to amend this and re-advertise this till next month.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Board Member Welby?
Yes.
Board Member Walsh?
Yes.
Board Member Morris?
Yes.
Board Member DeAntona?
Yes.
Chairman McDermott?
Yes.
See you next month.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, we have Norman Lefkowitz seeks special exception to convert single-family home into a two-unit home at 1015 Prospect Avenue, R-9 zone. Will you please step up?
You've already been sworn.
Sworn in. Chairman, this is property, again, this kind of runs us back into the Pittston Avenue property. We have an ADU situated in the back of the property, an additional dwelling unit on the back of this property too. We're asking to confront the front house into, from one unit to a two unit. We have two separate entrances. We have an entrance out the back. I don't believe we need a second egress for the second floor. However, we do have one. We do have, again, it runs, that question is, do we have the parking? But I learned something new tonight that, you know, it doesn't matter what kind of parking you have in order to do this. But I have some pictures here. This is for, I wrote on the bottom of it, it's for the first apartment. And it's for the second apartment, and then there's the ADU in the back, where we would have the parking to add that other unit.
So what you're saying again is that you're looking for an additional unit in the front, and there's already an
So there's two
existing.
units there already, but they're two separate units. There's an additional dwelling unit in the back, and the front has an upstairs and a downstairs for an apartment and first floor, second floor. And we have the parking in the back.
So Dan, how was this property registered, do you know? Or Mr. King?
Should be perfect, too. We had a rental inspection done on it. It was registered as two.
Say, when I looked at this property, I didn't realize that the back property went with the front property.
Right, so that's what we're saying. It's an additional dwelling unit on the same property. That's the same address, so I was always under the impression that I have two parking spots already, which I'm grandfathered in. That new thing that I could be over, you know, we could just be start from scratch. I don't know why they just put that new law in effect, where they went from 1.5
But
cars to one.
it's not a new law. It's at our discretion if we feel there needs to be more parking. It's not a new law.
Yeah, but you could take the ones that we have, is my question, Mr. Walsh. I mean, we have it, we're grandfathered in with parking. I didn't know that the board could actually take your grandfathered in. That's why it's called grandfathered in. I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll find out tomorrow if I'm wrong, though.
Mr. Bagan, from what I understand is, in the recent past, that parking was lessened from 1.5 per apartment to
Yeah, that's the
one.
that's the new law. Now it's
Right,
one.
so you're
Because there's no
saying
such
that-
thing as a half a car.
You're
Mr.
saying we
Welby.
should lessen it, when it already has been. It used to
Pardon
be,
me?
if you had that building in the front, you would need 3 parking spots. Now, with the new zoning, it's been lessened to 2. So you're in the benefit. Now, on this house,
Just
I have
asked
another
that
question.
earlier. I asked that same question earlier.
It appears that this was, in the past, a 2-unit, right? That side addition was an apartment, say, so to speak,
Totally understand.
right? In the back house, how many units are in that?
Pardon me?
How many units are in the
Just one,
back?
single unit.
Single? Okay.
Yeah, just put it's 2 single units. Mr. King, is that registered as a 2?
Registered as 2, one in the front, one in the rear.
That's correct, yeah. I did rental registration. Abraham, you came through the building with us, remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm
You remember the
sorry.
fleas got all over our legs?
Okay, I did
Now
remember
you
that.
remember,
Yes,
right?
I remember that.
I
Yes.
thought that, Joy, I could give you another memory if you want, but I will leave that off the record, right?
I
The
remember.
fleas,
that,
remember the
yeah.
fleas?
Yeah, it was me and Robin. We went together.
Terrible.
For the sake of argument, on the property, it looks like there's plenty of room to have 3 parking spots.
All due respect, yep.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Were you planning to make some kind of parking area for
That's
the?
what, Mr. Walsh, last month you caught me off guard. You said you have a parking plan, and I didn't. And so now I'll certainly come on a parking plan if need be, and that's ample parking, as Mr. King just alluded to. We'll be fine.
These guys saw that?
Is there anybody else that would like to give testimony?
You can make a contingent on 3 parking spots.
What
You
was
can
that?
put a condition on it that he has to have 3 parking spots.
Yes. Yep. I'll make a motion with the condition, Mr. Bingham, that you'll provide 3 parking spots in the rear.
In the rear? Sure. I mean, we'll get it. 3 parking spots in the rear?
Yes, sir.
So we'll probably have to take that tree down. Can we swing 2? Please? I mean, the reason I say that, Mr. Walsh, we'll be impeding on the whole yard. We don't want to take away from the yard, because at that point, we're making 3 units there. The back house has a yard, a good yard, because it's a huge size yard. If two, here's my plan. If I could do 2, I could take that tree down. I still need a walkway for the people to get into their house. I measured it out. I could get 2 parking spots right here. Or, as Mr. Mitchell said, I'll be stacking cars, and I don't want to do that. And I know that could hurt me right now, but I'll put 3, but if we could swing 2, please.
So you're looking at,
Come show me where you're gonna put this.
you're looking at the front building would be 2, and the back is 1, so you need 3 parking spots?
So this tree right here, you have 7 foot right here. You have 7 foot right here. From here over to where that building is. Although there's a setback, we should be able to do that. If we do this, open this up, we could put a walkway here, and we could blacktop that and
No.
put parking.
I mean, it looks tight in there, Mr.
Yeah.
Bingham, but can't you come in and just make 3 spots right here?
I'm sure we could, I just didn't want to take away the yard from the people.
Well, I think you'd have all back here on this side.
We'll make it, if that's what it is, we'll make it work. Pardon me?
All right, I'm gonna make a motion again with the 3 off-street parking in the rear.
Second.
Board Member Welby,
Yes.
Board Member Walsh,
Yes.
Board Member Morris,
Yes.
Board Member DeAntona.
Yes.
Chairman McDermott.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
By a vote of 5-0, you've been approved.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Zip Bed Construction LLC seeks variance to construct a single-family home and seek relief from the lot size requirement on Batluck Street L9 and Batluck Street L154 R-6 zone. Will you please step up?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Neil McDonald. I represent Zip Bed Construction. Alex Zeppetto, who is one of
You
the
can
members...
move over
of
to the microphone, please.
who's one of the members of the LLC is going to make the presentation.
Not really sure what to say, but
If you guys want to
okay.
raise your right hand to
You
be
gotta-
sworn in.
Get sworn in.
I do.
State and spell your name for us.
My name's Alessandro Zeppetto, Alessandro, Zipetto, last name.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your first name.
It's Alex. Alessandro is my full name.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we're looking to build 2 single-family houses on two separate lots that we have, that we purchased. I'm sorry, I don't know what to really say.
The variance request is that the lots themselves are only 30 feet wide. They're 30 feet by 127. So the side setbacks are going to be shorter. And the set of drawings that Mr. Zeppetto has and the ones that the architect has worked out, there would be 11 feet between the two houses. They'd end up with 5.5-foot setbacks. On the front and on the back would be, there would be more than enough for setbacks. There'd be driveway and a garage in the front. So again, not a parking issue.
You have some drawings for
Yeah,
us?
dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll wait till you get back to your mic.
Neil, what did you say the lot size were? 30
They're,
by
30 by 127,
127.
yes.
I was also saying that I believe the lot requirement size is 5,000 square feet. Ours are a little under that, so it's like, I think about 3,700 square feet each. So we're a little bit under that as well.
So
Are you-
what's
Are
the
you
re-
proposing to build two separate buildings, one on
Yes.
each lot?
Yes,
That's correct.
Two separate buildings, one on each lot?
Are these currently two separate lots now?
yes.
They are.
According to the zoning here now, our ordinance on page 143, the creation of non-conforming lots, says that 2 to 4 abutting lots or combinations of abutting lots under the same ownership are not in conformity, they automatically come together as one lot.
I think part of the problem or part of the issue with that is within a half a block of these two lots, there's at least another 7 or 8 30 wide by 127 lots. So at some point, they were created. They're owned by several different taxpayers. So we bought them from the same owner, Francine Fitzgerald. But there's lots of the same size owned by a Michael and Patricia Burke that are, again, within a half a block of these lots, and several others owned by a James DeCenzio, also right on Grand Avenue in the same area.
Is there a reason why you're trying to slam two small houses on one? That's like, to me, this is one normal-sized lot in the city.
They're on two different deeds. They were sold as two different deeds. At some point, someone allowed for these two, plus at least another 8 or 9 in the same, within the same block to be drafted to be cut that way.
How long
30 by
ago?
127.
How long ago were they built?
I was not able to get back far enough to see. The deeds I have from whom we purchased were just, the latest one was 2020.
Are
It
you
looked like
looking
a
to?
husband and wife had bought them, and then the wife, the husband transferred them to the husband transferred them to the wife.
Are you looking to live in these houses, or?
I think he was looking to build them and then resell them as new construction.
Okay.
So single family residences.
Let me try to define what you need as far as a variance. For single-family dwelling in an R6, the lot size is supposed to be 5,000 square feet. You have 3810, so you would need a variance from that.
Correct.
The width is supposed to be 40 feet. You have 30, so you need a variance from that.
That are both of those, correct.
Now, the setbacks from the front is 20 feet. I think you're going to have that, am I right?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
the setback from the rear is 25 feet. I think you have that.
But more than enough.
Okay, and the side setback is only 4 feet. Do you have 4 feet?
I've got, I think with the way the drawings show them, it's 5.5.
You have 5.5.
5.5. And so there's two lots. To the left of the first one is what, I guess it's an undeveloped road or an unemancipated road. There's a place on the drawing for it when you go to the tax services map, but there's no actual road there. So there's nothing impinging on that neighbor because it is the city.
There's no neighbor on that side.
Right, and the neighbor on the other side is going to be the ones we bought the lots from. Francine Fitzgerald.
Okay, so basically, they're looking for 2 variances, one from the lot size, from 5,000 square feet to 3810, and the other for the width from 40 feet to 30 feet. I believe they're the only two variances you need. I think you have everything else.
That,
I think they need a variance from this other section too.
what,
What, I'm sorry, I didn't. What section is that? Page 143.
So you're saying that they just automatically become one?
Okay, so it appears they also need a variance from section 9.4B, which talks about non-conforming lots.
That, correct,
Same project.
exactly.
Are you good?
Yeah, may I approach?
Sure.
Okay. The same lot size.
We should go back to the mic so everybody could hear.
So, and based upon the discussions, Attorney Penetar is correct. We're looking for a variance for the width, the lot width, which is only 30 feet, and then the square footage being a little bit less than 3,900. And since the zoning reads that if something is undersized, it becomes one lot, section, what was it, 9.4, Mr. King?
9.4B.
9.4B. We would also, it would, to grant the first two would automatically have to, we wouldn't include that one. But Mr. Zeppetto is looking to make a substantial investment to build single-family residence homes in the city that he then intends to market and sell.
Is there anybody here that'd like to give testimony? Let the record show there's no one.
I'll make a motion to vote with, there's no conditions on this, Dan, right?
No, there's no condition. You're basically voting on the project.
Second.
Board Member Wolby,
No.
Board Member Walsh,
Yes.
Board Member Morris,
Yes.
Board Member DeAntona,
Yes.
Chairman McDermott.
Yes. By a vote of 4-1, you've been approved.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, gentlemen.
All right, next on the agenda, we have Jose Figueroa seeks special exception to convert mixed-use property into a 6-unit property at 403, 405 Cedar Avenue, end zone. Will you please step up? Jose Figueroa. Okay. All right, next on the agenda, we have Anthony Christopher Lewis seeks variance to construct a 40 by 60 pole barn with a bathroom on vacant land at Forest Glen Drive, R-8 zone. Will you please step up?
Good evening. I'm Anthony Christopher Lewis. I own this property with a couple of friends, yeah. Hi. Yes. And should we talk?
Yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely. Good evening, I'm Dave Johns from Design Build. We're here representing Mr. Lewis. He's asking for basically a zoning variance. He's constructing or proposing a 40 by 60 garage in an existing R8 zone. The parcel is approximately 25 acres. It's located on Forest Glen Drive, just off of Kaiser Avenue. And it borders residential in the back, and then towards the front, there's a golf driving range and industrial uses, along with a salvage yard. And as Mr. King knows, this garage is for personal use. It's no business are going to be operated out of it. It's a storage building, and it would be an allowable use as an accessory, but there's no residence on this property. So if you wanted to, if I could present, I could show you our drawing. So this is the parcel overall. And then there's a blow up of the building. So it's 2,400 square feet.
So where in that is the driving range to it?
The driving range is directly across the street. The driving range is directly across the street.
Okay.
So Kaiser Avenue would be down here on the plan.
So, Mr. Johns, when you say personal use, what are you looking to do in here as a personal use? Like, what are you storing in here?
So Mr. Lewis is involved in woodworking, so he's going to be crafting cabinets, furniture for personal use, basically.
So he's not going to be conducting sales out of here or nothing like that? No.
There won't be a business operated out of there. No customers. We have allocated 2 parking spots, and there would be a toilet in the facility here proposed.
Well, what kind of construction are you doing there?
Right now, we're proposing it would be a pole building, so it would be metal siding.
Mr. Penetar, if we were to grant something like this, that would stay strictly non-commercial business use and for storage only?
Well, yes, if that's what it actually is. But if we're talking about woodworking and crafting cabinets, that's a little bit more than a personal use. You know, personal use is parking your vehicles in a garage. This sounds a little bit more than that. You're going to be building things within the confines of the pole barn.
I'm assuming what he's trying to say is how many cabinets could you build for yourself is what he's saying, you know?
Yeah, so it's if I have it right, Mr. Lewis, it's not your full-time occupation. He has a full-time position. So again, it's really for pleasure and not to be operated as a business.
When you build the cabinets, what do you do with them?
Well, he builds them for friends, woodworking.
For free?
Yeah.
Could I get them? Could I get in on this deal?
I have a question too. Are you, do you plan on repairing your own vehicles in that garage or in that pole barn, let's say?
Potentially, I would just for myself. I'm looking for a shop for personal use. I don't have space. I have a residence in town. I don't have space to build a shop at my residence. I like to tinker and be handy. I'm just looking for a place to have a shop for personal use.
Are you going to do any commercial work out of there at all? Any commercial work? Like when you build the cabinets, you're going to sell them to a builder, a homeowner?
So I have occasionally done a job for pay.
So that's commercial then?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is not any kind of full-time work, but yes. Mm-hmm.
Let me see if there's anybody from the audience, and maybe that'll lead to more questions and more answers from you. Anybody who'd like to speak?
That's how we're trying to limit.
Come on up.
I do. Mark Phillips. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Mark Phillips. I've been a lifetime resident of Scranton, Pennsylvania. For 29 years now, I lived in the Farmwood development where I raised my family. I'm here on behalf, in conjunction with all the residents of Farmwood. I have a petition here of 140 signatures that do not want to see any of the R8 residential land be converted into anything other than residential homes. We have no problem with building homes and bringing families into that area. But if you're familiar with where it comes off of Kaiser Avenue and it's Flume Street, and even though they are commercially buildings there, they're not maintained properly. We see all the things, but that is what it is. Once you enter past that, there's even a sign, no trucks in this area unless it's for local deliveries. Like I said, we have no problem with having residential homes there, and that's what all that land was proposed for, and that's why it's an R8. And so, as the residents found, we requested this variance is denied, and I could bring up these copies if you need these.
Just go back to your microphone, please.
You know, we have been up there, like I said, for over 30 years. We invested heavily into our properties up there. We have a little niche there that is like, you don't think you're in Scranton as you hit West Mountain. Even the original developer, to build a home there, you could not take down trees unless they were part of the process of where you were building. So everything around that's left there as residential land is still nature. We have deer. That's what it's called farmwood. We have all kinds of animals. We don't want any more other than residential accommodations, single-family dwellings to come into that neighborhood. There's plenty of commercial facilities throughout, or even business or vacant locations on Kaiser Avenue, throughout the valley, in Scranton, that if someone wanted to have a wood shop with chemicals and machinery running and compressors running, they could do it any place they wanted to, but they should not have to do it in the backyard of people's homes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Phillips, the 140 signatures, are some of the people here?
Yes, they are. They're here.
Can we have a raise of hands? Probably 12 to 15 in here.
I'm sure that anybody on that list would accommodate a phone call or anything else to speak their piece on how they feel. And the petition stated clearly that they want this denied, and they have no qualms with building residential homes.
Okay, anybody else like to speak?
Thank you.
Good evening, zoning board. Thanks for your service. Thanks for holding our hearing. My name is Gary DiBilio, D-I-B-I-L-E-O. And I happen to be
Raise your right hand, Gary.
I'm sorry?
Raise your right hand.
I do. I happen to be the president of the Kaiser Valley Neighborhood Association, and I also live in Fawnwood for over 30 years, as Mr. Phillips does and some of the other people here. And I echo what Mr. Phillips is saying. We would more than welcome Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis. We'd more than welcome him into our neighborhood as a for a residential home. We'd actually love that. But when it comes to changing zoning from residential to commercial, 140 people from our neighborhood signed the petition against that. We have to drive through a commercial area to get up to our neighborhood, and this would be commercial that is virtually at the entrance to our neighborhood. And to me and to our neighbors, it seems like it would change the whole scenery of our neighborhood in Fawnwood. So I'm here representing Kaiser Valley Neighborhood Association and residents of Fawnwood to oppose the changing of the zoning for this property. And again, we would more than welcome Mr. Lewis to our neighborhood. We'd love to have him there as far as his home goes. I understand that's part of his plan to build a home on this 25 acres besides having a cabinet shop on the 25 acres. So we're all for the home itself, and we're against the cabinet making shop. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, come on.
I do. My name is Candace Monahan, C-A-N-D-I-C-E-M-O-N-A-H-A-N. Good evening. My husband and I also live in the Fawnwood development. Like others have said, you really don't understand that you're in Scranton when you're up in our development. It's very quiet. It's wooded, residential. We do go through quite a bit of unsightly industry to get up to our neighborhood. The problem I think that we have is, this is a large tract of land that's there. It's a 25, 26 acres. If we did allow this to go through as a commercial zoning, okay, what's to say that there wouldn't be someone else to come later and say, okay, well, there's extra acreage still. Now we'd like to put this here, or we'd like to put that here, or Dr. Lewis, would like to sell that building then. But now it's already a commercial use property. So then what would go there? We have to worry about all of that. I'm a little confused that about the no business use, because one of the other neighbors who actually is part of the Scranton Police Department is involved in our neighborhood group, and he spoke to one of the owners. It's not just Dr. Lewis that owns this tract of land. There's 3 separate owners that went in together. It's a different owner that wants to put the home on the property. The property goes all the way around. The home itself would wrap around onto Ridgeview Avenue, and that's where the home is to be built. The business, which we understood that there was already a business someplace in the city where these cabinets are being made and was going to be moved here. So there's some confusion, and there was a little bit of trouble at the site already. I guess someone was trying to clear the site manually without, doing like perk testing and permits and stuff like that, and was burning the brush that was being cut down. And one of the neighbors called the fire department, and, they were told, you can't do that. And then several days later, there was another fire, and the fire department was called again, and the city fire inspectors said, hey, you're going to be cited. This isn't allowed. So the neighbors have concerns. I think that's all I've got. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I'll make a motion, we vote on this.
Give
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Johns a chance to
Sorry.
respond.
Thank you.
Continue.
So I just wanted to be clear. Number one, we're not asking for this to be a commercial building. We would be, we're on the opposite side of this property from the development. We're clearly 150 feet from any home. And with that being said, we're asking for this, it's allowable, permitted as an accessory use, along with a home-based business, which, this may be construed as, but it's really just a 2,400 square foot storage building.
Myself, right now, I'd rather see a home there first, then come before us or build a garage as an accessory use versus just a garage. Because I understand the neighbor's concern with having, it could be a business, it's sometimes a business. It can develop more since now you're going to have a lot more room to build things. It just seems to me the cart before the horse. It's a single-family residence area, R8. Even though it is industrial, leading up to that point, once you get past the sign, there you're out of the city.
Well, correct, sir.
Country area.
Where this storage building would be, directly across the street, as I indicated, is industrial. It's a driving range, right? And with that being said, if it is an accessory use, right? So if a residence was constructed as a primary use, we wouldn't even be here tonight. Yeah.
That part of it is true. If the residence was there and this was accessory to the residence, then you wouldn't have to be here. That is correct.
But I don't have a plan to build a house on the same lot, so.
And that's why you need the variance.
This is why I'm here, right. It does, it's directly adjacent to commercial zoning. I'm not asking for commercial zoning, just to, re-clarify that, but.
You are, though.
So even though you're saying it's for your personal use, it's a commercial building.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So you're looking to build a pole barn in a residential neighborhood?
Yes.
Correct. Yep.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Board Member Welby?
Nope.
Board Member Walsh?
No.
Board Member Morris?
No.
Board Member DeAntona?
No.
Chairman McDermott?
No. By a vote of 5-0, you've been denied.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
No, this one, Lewis. This is all Lewis.
Abraham, do you want to call the case that,
Oh, wait, we have another case. We
have
still have a
another one?
ninth case.
You still don't have a case, yeah.
Two more.
So next on the agenda, we have Savan Patel seeks variance to convert hair salon to a convenience store at 1202, 1204 Mulberry Street, institutional zone. Will you please step up?
Good evening, board. Oh, sorry about that. I do.
Please identify
Gentlemen,
yourself.
My name is Tom Gilholy. I'm a real estate agent with ERA Real Estate, and I represent, this in a transaction that's pending, I represent the seller of the property. Mr. Savan Patel is the buyer of the property, and I'll explain. So we're here tonight to ask for a change of use from a hair salon, which it currently is at 1202 Mulberry, it's called Maintamers, to a convenient mart, and that's Mr. Patel's desire to, when he buys the property. We have an agreement of sale. The sale is contingent upon zoning approval of the change of use, and that's what we're looking for tonight. We contend that the 1200 block of Mulberry Street has 7 different commercial-type establishments. There's 4 right across the street. Mr. Patel owns Goodfellas, which is directly abutting Maintamers. It's right there. They literally share a parking lot, and there's an easement. So the parking is, it's never been an issue. There are 6 spots on the easterly side of Maintamers that Mark Monticelli, who owns, and his sister own the building. There's 6 spots that he has an easement for from Mr. Patel. And there's another handicap spot at the back of the property. Again, this is consistent with the nature of the neighborhood. It's a convenient mart. We think it would serve the university very well in that area. And, it's not, at least in our mind, we don't think it's very complicated. If there's questions, we might get further, or I could just keep going on. Pardon me?
Your last name.
Gilholy, Gilhooley, Thomas.
And I'm his realtor.
Oh, there we go. So the 2 realtors are here, and one of the principals.
So, Mr. Gurley, we're going to change it to a convenient mart. We're going to change some signage on the building.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be some signage changes, yes. Yeah, because there is a maintainer sign on the building now. That'll have to come off, and Mr. Patel will put whatever he's going to call his store.
Are we going to be selling alcohol out of there?
No. Because we already sell the alcohol back of the
Yeah, this property is literally merged with Goodfellas, if you're familiar, in the 1200 block of Mulberry Street. There's not even a foot off the easterly side of Maintamers. There's a parking lot there, and like I said, there's an easement to allow for parking.
Do you have something that we're going to be doing for the entrance? I know the building. I'm looking for a barber, apparently.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. The entrance now is just a single man door. Do you have anything that we're going to be changing to the frontage? I know the building.
I'm going to come up because I have a hard time.
Sorry, Tom.
That's not
That's right, yeah.
That's again.
What I'm asking is, with the front door, the entrance,
Right.
are we going to change much about that?
I don't think he has much, you don't expect to change the entrance. No.
I know the building.
Yeah.
I get my haircut there.
There you go.
I know.
As do I.
So I need,
Mr. Welby, so
Yes, sir.
before he gets a new certificate of occupancy, assuming he gets his approval, it would have to pass an inspection. So whatever the door is, will have to meet the commercial standards.
Is there anybody else like to give testimony? There's no one.
I'll make a motion.
Board Member Welby,
No, yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Board Member Walsh,
Yes.
Board Member Morris,
Yes.
Board Member DeAntona.
Yes.
Chairman McDermott.
Yes. By a vote of 5-0, you've been approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay, one last time. Jose Figueroa seeks special exception to convert mixed-use property into a 6-unit property at 403, 405 Cedar Avenue, end zone. Will you please step up?
What do we got? As long as we keep, like,
Is that guy here for this?
I don't know.
He's not?
Excuse me, Don?
Mr. King, is he here for that case? Okay,
All
okay.
right. I guess we should table it for next month, because
Was that the first time for this?
it's the first time, yeah.
Okay.
Continuance.
I'll make a motion to table that, which case was that? I'm sorry.
It was 7.
Number 7.
Jose Figueroa.
Okay. I'll make a motion to table number 7 till next month.
Second?
Board Member Welby,
yes?
Board Member Walsh,
Yes.
Board Member Morris, Board Member DeAntona.
Yes.
Chairman McDermott.
Yes.
Okay, tabled.
Granted.
There are no further cases? Meeting's adjourned.